Hey everybody, Andrew Jordan here. Just wanted to make a quick video saying why I don't think Jesus was a zealot or political messianic figure. I think for this theory to work, you have to assume there was a massive conspiracy theory that included all the gospel writers, Paul, the rabbis, the Romans, Josephus, and anybody else. And I don't think that that's how this is working here. I say it's a conspiracy because you need all of the text to essentially omit this mysterious fact of history that no one wanted to maintain. None of the writers refer to Jesus as a political messianic figure, including none of the gospel writers explicitly. Josephus doesn't refer to him as a political messianic figure or zealot. The Roman authors that we have don't mention him as a political zealot or messianic figure in the sense of um, organizing an armed revolt against Rome. Neither does Celsus or any of our Jewish sources. Um, it would be one thing if the gospel writers said that what we have now in the canonical sources, and we had other sources that criticized Jesus by saying he was an armed rebel, but no one mentions it. And I don't think that you could have all of these sources um, coordinate together to propagate this kind of conspiracy. Um, and we have the a few other issues that I'd like to mention, which is first that none of his disciples were arrested or executed with him. This is a major problem because if they were part of an armed rebellion, you would expect all of them to be arrested, as other armed rebels were arrested and executed, both the armed rebel themselves and their disciples or followers. We have in early Christianity a variety of different groups. We have Gnostics, Marcionites, Ebionites, Pauline Christians, and other flavors therein. Uh, for all of these groups to agree together would be impossible. And we're assuming that they would all be agreeing to hide this truth. Um, But what we would need to be the case is for a figure to explain all of these different views and essentially have them be variations on the historical Jesus that they in turn interpret to support their own theological or philosophical needs, which the armed rebel Jesus does not do. Um, I think that the available evidence that we have supports a religious dispute, and we can look to the issue of um, the temple, where Jesus enters into the temple and overturns the money changers' tables, essentially, as the underlying incident that caused his arrest and execution. This was a religious dispute that scared the authorities at that time to arrest and execute him accordingly. Um, Now, what does this mean from a historical point of view? Is that we must assume that the Sanhedrin had the authority to be able to undergo this kind of execution, which it seems to be the case that that was true at a certain point. However, that is debated, as are all points of history. Um, and so, in conclusion, the scant references that are assembled together to assume some sort of uh, cover up, as we could call it, of a rebel past that were hidden by the gospel authors is good for selling books, but I don't think it's good for history. It's too big of a conspiracy for everyone to have participated together and to come up with something like this. And that's why I don't think Jesus was a zealot.